New concerns from many families in North County. They're telling our I-Team they're afraid they've been exposed to overly high levels of radiation compared to other areas of St. Louis.
In their first sit-down interview since concerns at Jana Elementary, those responsible for the cleanup are speaking tonight only to the I-Team's Paula Vasan.
Would you say that you were wrong about certain things?
Oh, of course. We're wrong about contamination being limited to the sediments in the creek bed.
For decades, the water that flows in North County's Coldwater Creek has carried something dangerous: radioactive contamination, the result of improper storage of nuclear waste during World War II. Cleanup and criticism fell on the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
We were just not aware that flooding mechanism was going to redistribute the contamination from the creek to the adjacent areas.
Given the fact that you've been wrong before, do you understand people's concerns?
Of course.
This is their first sit-down interview since a recent study commissioned by a law firm found high levels of radioactive waste at a North County elementary school, closing it down. Later testing by the U.S. Army Corps found no harmful radiation.
Would you send your children to Jana Elementary?
Yes, I would.
It's no consolation for parents like Dawn Chapman. She believes cleanup has been too slow.
Why, after decades, are we still fighting the same battle? And why are we allowing people to be exposed to the maximum risk when other communities get a much better, safer cleanup?
It's up to the Environmental Protection Agency and other government agencies to decide how much contamination will be cleaned up. Part of that is figuring out how many people could be at risk of getting cancer from that contamination. It's a sliding scale. The least amount of protection that can be legally chosen is about 1 person in 10,000. The most protection is around 1 in 1,000,000. North County got the lowest end of the scale.
Federal officials say they're limited by environmental factors. They say the range is within a level that protects human health. But Missouri Congresswoman Cori Bush calls it unacceptable.
Well, we know that we're talking about environmental racism, that it needs to be cleaned up immediately.
Is there environmental racism going on?
Our decisions are specifically driven by where the highest possibility for human contact is.
Right now, that's parts of North County.
So the low-level contamination that we have been finding is predominantly low-level below the surface and is inside the creek in and of itself.
The U.S. Army Corps has said radioactive contamination in North County does not pose an immediate risk in its current configuration. Environmental experts have argued that's an impossible promise, especially with the evidence. A CDC report in 2019 estimated that long-term exposure to Coldwater Creek could have increased the risk of developing lung cancer, bone cancer, or leukemia.
The state recognizes this zip code right here as having an almost 300% increase in childhood brain cancer.
She's citing the latest research available from the state's health department. It shows 8 zip codes in North County. The majority of them along Coldwater Creek had statistically significantly higher rates of cancer. This parent says the risk impacts her family.
My daughter had a concussion a few weeks ago, and we went to the ER, and it's in her file that we live next to Westlake, and he said, because of where you live and the history that your family, we do not want to do any scans unless we absolutely have to, because it all accumulates and increases the risk.
Leading to a lifetime of worry.
Why has this been a problem for so long?
We've been in this area for the 25 years, and it's an extensive project. North County in and of itself is over 2,000 acres. We're here to see that process through, and it does take some time.
People in the area want more urgency. The Army Corps plans to clean up the contamination found in Coldwater Creek near Jana Elementary in the summer of next year. Now, school officials in the district are saying that's not enough. They want the Army Corps to test all of the district's buildings for radioactive waste. For the I-Team, Paula Vasan, 5 on your side.